It's Sue Smith sitting in for Elias Makos. I'm going to be here with you this week and next week. Nice to have you with us. We are going to talk about ArriveCan. So how did a two-person company cash in $65 million from the government with no proof that they actually did the work? Actually, it seems like they never intended to do any of the work themselves anyway. Canada's Auditor General report on ArriveCan came out on Tuesday. It was scathing. Among other things, Karen Hogan found federal public servants paid ArriveCan's main contractor, they're called GCS Strategies, without proof that any work was done. Bill Curry has been following this story. He is the Deputy Ottawa Bureau Chief for the Globe and Mail, and he joins me on the line. Good morning.
Morning.
So can you just take us back to, how did all this start?
Sure, yeah. This is just a story about one little app that as the media and MPs started digging, really exposed a much wider problem with contracting across the federal government. And so the original story was ArriveCan, which was a government-created app during the pandemic that was supposed to help when Canadians were having a lot of issues at the border, when there was all kinds of, quarantine and vaccination mandates and that kind of thing. So you could punch in some of your data there to speed entry into the country. So that was the idea. People with tech backgrounds say it's a very simple app. There's not much to it. It shouldn't have cost a whole lot of money. Its original budget, there was $80,000 set aside to create the app. Mm-hmm. And as we reported a few years ago, the cost just grew and grew and grew to originally over $54 million, and then they upgraded that to $59 million. And that led to extensive committee hearings and the calls for the Auditor General to do audits, which she did last year, specifically on ArriveCan, which found huge problems with the way that was run. And after getting that report, the House of Commons asked her to go further and audit all of the contracts with GC Strategies, which, as you mentioned, is this two-person company that was the lead contractor on ArriveCan. And that's what we got yesterday, which was her second report looking at all of GC Strategies' contracts with the federal government.
Well, I was kind of making the joke this morning, although it's not funny, but GC Strategies, that's a great business model. Basically, you just get contracts from the government and you farm them out to other people and you take, between 15 and 30%? What was their role in all of this?
Yeah, well, exactly. They found a niche, I guess.
It's hard to find words, really, isn't it?
It's a pretty sweet deal if you can make it work.
Yeah.
That is pretty much it. They are experts at landing contracts, and by their own admission, they do no IT work at all themselves. Yeah. They are a couple guys who had worked for other companies in IT sales before and found an avenue. And but we had been writing, and some people would come to us and complain that some of the paperwork didn't make sense, inflating resumes or questions as to whether people had proper security status. So those questions have been circulating, and that's what really got confirmed in yesterday's report. Just the very basic elements that the public servants were not checking. One contract with one department. Supposedly, GC Strategies had 25 people working for the department through their essentially a hiring agency, and the report said they could only find timesheets for one of these 25 subcontractors. So, public servants from departments across government are routinely signing off that these subcontractors have done work for them without ever checking to see, is there a timesheet? And if there is a timesheet, have you read it? Does it make any sense? Mm-hmm. Other basic things that were completely missed. Do these people that are working, when you're a subcontractor, you work side by side with other federal departments or public servants in the departments, including sensitive areas like national defense, and our innovation department was in charge of, industrial secrets, that kind of thing. And in many cases, these subcontractors did not have security clearance, and yet they're working side by side with public servants on sensitive information inside the federal government.
And so, I mean, it is kind of distracting, GC Strategies, because actually the story of the bureaucrats just sort of, I don't know what, checking boxes. I mean, is there going to be, we know there's an ongoing investigation for GC Securities and another firm. Is there going to be any repercussions for the civil service?
Well, it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot. The Auditor General said it wasn't her job to go deeper, that one level deeper, to find out whether there are any consequences. She does raise in her report that, there is a law in place called the Financial Administration Act. The public servants are supposed to follow, these public servants who are responsible for signing off on spending taxpayers' dollars. So potentially there's violations there. We have seen that the department in charge of contracting the last couple of years have said that they're increasing scrutiny, and so there have been some cases referred to the RCMP, but we're talking 6 or 7 that we know of. Maybe there's more. The amount of cases going to the RCMP seems like a small minority of the cases that the Auditor General has found. Mm-hmm. But even those ones that have gone to the RCMP, there's some pretty wild stories that we wrote a few months ago. There's this one case where a subcontractor, ironically, who was hired through GC Strategies, was billing for more hours than there are in a day. They were like exceeding 24 hours a day in billing. So clearly, that's not possible.
Nobody did the math.
Wow.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy that, it seems to be really ad hoc too. Like, well, some, bureaus say they're going to impose the act and others aren't. I guess just I have to let you go. But I mean, you've been working on this a long time. I'm from Quebec. We've had these scandals before, but, Canadians have also seen the sponsorship scandal. In that case, there was kind of course, a criminal element, but this seems just to be incompetent. And I guess my question is, how surprised are you?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised at just like as the Auditor General just keeps saying, like the very basic things. If your job is to sign off on invoices, you should check to see if you actually got the work done that you're supposed to be paying for. So it's hard to believe that there are people across departments who are in charge of financial management who are just not doing the most basic level of testing before they send money out the door to contractors. And I think the ArriveCan thing was just one small case study that has really shown that this seems to be endemic across the public service. These widespread problems with, for some reason, the basic jobs are not getting done.
Well, Bill, thanks so much for all your work on this, and thanks for speaking with us this morning.
No, thanks for your interest.
That's Bill Curry. He's the Deputy Ottawa Bureau Chief for the Globe and Mail. He's been following this story for a long time, and this is following the Auditor General's report that came out yesterday on ArriveCan.